Hey guys, Zuco here with the birds, back with another Shadowlands video for 9.2, the upcoming patch. What's going on, guys? How are we doing today? We are looking at Fury Warrior today. Go drink my coffee. We're gonna look at tier set bonuses. What's coming up with that? What legendary combinations are going to be good? Which Covenant legendary mixes well with sort of the regular legendaries? And yeah, we're gonna see sort of what is like actually synergistic, and then what is just going to be like strong to take into Mythic Plus, into Raid, depending on what kind of content you guys want to tackle. There's lots of different choices out there for Fury Warrior, and just a couple of notes as well about the difference between like Fury Warrior and Arms Warrior. It's important to understand when it comes to things like Execute or Condemn if you're going to go Venthyr. So let's look at all that. Let's start out with the legendary combinations. Let me drink my coffee first. Once again, it's cold outside. I got my scarf on. We're good to go. Okay, we're ready. Are you ready? We're ready. Okay. First of all, I am a panda, which is the superior warrior race. Obviously. So just make sure you go panda if you're gonna go. I'm just kidding. Actually, you should go panda because it's a lot of fun. What are we looking at? 9.2. We've got 4 Covenant legendaries that we'll have access to, depending on where you're going, and then we're gonna be able to combine that with these other legendaries. Let me start with. We'll get to Sinful Surge in a minute. That's what I'm Venthyr right now. Let's look at the other 3. So the Necrolord legendary makes Conqueror's Banner affect an additional ally, and then you increase the duration of it every 20 rage you spend. So 20 rage is very easy to spend as a warrior, no matter what spec you're going. So that it would stay up for a very, very long time. Conqueror's Banner gives you 400 mastery and movement speed, and then it gives those buffs to other allies. So really good in a raid. I think in particular in a raid, this is going to be quite strong. 400 mastery is not too shabby. Almost all specs want mastery. Nothing wrong with mastery. So if you just really want to go Necrolord as your Fury Warrior, Glory is fine. You're gonna get the Glory legendary, and you can combine it with whatever else you were already doing before. Maybe you were doing Signet. Then you could just go back with that. Um, Maybe you were doing a Deathmaker, which is a really common one, so you can just obviously do that as well. But it's just going to be a straight up buff to your damage, and you're going to help all your teammates, which is kind of cool. Nature's Fury. This is probably the highest DPS legendary to take, is to go Night Fae and to get Ancient Aftershock. The damage on this thing is just crazy. On top of that, this just adds more damage, this legendary here. So it's just going to be all damage, basically. Let me just look at this really quick. Switch over here. What's the actual numbers on Ancient Aftershock? Yeah, like Ancient Aftershock does 220% of your attack power to 5 enemies, and it knocks them all down. So like for Prot Warrior in particular, I really love going Night Fae. The knockdown in dungeons is ridiculous. It's one of the very few knockdowns in the game. You've got like Earthquake from Elemental Shaman, and then you have Shockwave as Prot Warrior, and then this is another one that you get to have. So there's actually very, very few knockdown effects in the game, and this is a very powerful one. So in terms of straight DPS, particularly Mythic Plus, Nature's Fury is going to be huge. And if you're going Fury Warrior, again, you can combine that probably with Deathmaker. If you get the win, if you press Whirlwind and then Rampage, you might get a Siege Breaker on all the targets that you Whirlwind, right? So there's obviously very normal synergies there. The last one is Elysian Might. Of course, Spear of Bastion's duration is increased. It gives you lots of rage generation. So does Ancient Aftershock, by the way. So both of these are very good for getting to your Rampage really quickly. And then the only issue with the Elysian Might is that you have to stand within the Spear of Bastion area to get the critical strike damage. So this is kind of bad in a lot in not in a lot of ways, but it's kind of just bad. Almost in every single Mythic Plus dungeon that you're doing, the chances of you sort of standing still in the same spot for an extended period of time, like more than say 7 seconds, 6 or 7 seconds, is kind of rare. There's just a lot of ground effects in this game. There's a lot of reasons why your character needs to move out of the way. Excuse me. So I think this is okay, but not necessarily best. You have to be very careful about how you're throwing your spears. You got to throw them in the right spot. So that brings us to Venthyr. And again, with the other three, like, there aren't like just really any synergies. There aren't any like obvious synergies that kind of go along taking the other three legendaries and then combining it with a normal legendary. But with the Venthyr one, this is really cool. There's some really cool stuff going on here. So Condemn extends the duration of Recklessness by 2 seconds. I'm actually wearing this right now, so you can see this in action. Let's run in. We're going to pop Recklessness. Look up here, 14 seconds, goes to 15, and we go up to 15 again. Look at the Recklessness. It's down to 12, back to 14, and it's back to 12 again, and it's going to stay up forever, guys. Now, this is obviously a target that doesn't lose health. Obviously, Condemn only works when you have a target at above 80% health or below 35% health because of sudden death. Because of massacre. So, in a raid scenario on pull, you're probably going to get Recklessness to stay up for. Mine goes for 15 seconds right now. You can probably extend that to like 30, maybe 40, depending on how long the boss stays above 80% health, right? And then obviously once you get into the execute window, you have permanent Recklessness once again. So it's permanent Recklessness on either side of the execute window at the beginning and at the end, which is cool. Okay, that's very, very cool. Now that can be combined obviously with some talents. We could go anger management. I had Reckless Abandon on there, and I'll talk about Reckless Abandon in a minute. But the standard is to go Anger Management and to get the cooldown of Recklessness back again. Now, so with Sinful Surge plus Anger Management, you're probably looking at Recklessness coming back off cooldown much, much more quickly. Let's just take a look at it really quick. Let me just show you. So now we've obviously got, and obviously you want to take Massacre and you want to take Sudden Death to try and get those procs, so that Sudden Death allows you to keep getting, Recklessness potentially, even when you're outside of the execute window on either side, the condemn window, right? But let's look at the anger management thing. Let's look at the cooldown of Recklessness. Pay attention to it. We're going to pop it. We're going to press condemn. We're going to do this. Watch the cooldown of Recklessness. It's going down. It's going down. Obviously, it only goes down when we press Rampage, but we're going to keep pressing Rampage. Boom, 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 boom. Do this. Rowan. Recklessness is going down. You can see that we're at 47 already. And we haven't lost Recklessness because our Condemn's keeping it up. This is what it would look like on pull, on a raid boss, because it stays above 80% health for this long, right? We can go like this. And we go like this, and we go, and we've almost got it back. And we just lost Recklessness, but we have the cooldown back right now. Okay? See how that works? That's what I'm saying, is that we can basically, I think on pull on a raid boss, you could realistically get this cooldown back like that, okay? Obviously, in terms of the conduits, you're going to need to take Depths of Insanity to make Recklessness last longer. I don't even have a high eye level of this yet, so this would just get better. But there's a combination there between this legendary and anger management. Now, that's pretty good. In Mythic Plus, it might not be quite as smooth as that. And then once you get into the middle section of a raid boss, it's not going to be quite as smooth either. You're going to be trying to get those sudden death procs and hoping for the best there. But there's also this. So Reckless Defense. Rampage Strikes have a 20% chance to reduce the remaining cooldown of Recklessness and Enraged Regen. So you could combine Sinful Surge with Reckless Defense. Now, this might be a little bit of an overkill, and when we get to the tier set bonus, you're going to see it might be a complete overkill, but just bear with me for now. This is a potential combo that you could go. You get Sinful Surge, which extends Recklessness. You have Anger Management, which reduces the cooldown of Recklessness. And then Rampage also has a chance to reduce the cooldown of Recklessness again. Rampage, once again, attacks 4 times. So you have a 20% chance per hit. That's an 80% chance, essentially, to reduce the cooldown of Recklessness. So that might be overkill. If you go Sinful Surge plus Reckless Defense, maybe now you can shift into Reckless Abandon instead of going for Anger Management. Or you could go Sinful Surge and instead take Deathmaker or take Will of the Berserker. Or you could go Signet like usual, but we're not going to do Signet, and I'll explain why in a minute. But having this amount of Recklessness cooldown might push you over to this Reckless Abandon talent, which is very, very cool. If you've never played with this before, it changes Raging Blow and Bloodthirst to be like they each do like double the damage and they generate more fury basically. And then obviously Recklessness, when you pop it, it gives you 50 rage. So that's pretty insane. Okay, really really good there. Why do we not want to take Signet? Um, I'll explain this in a minute. We are kind of GCD locked at the moment, and so if you're going Venthyr, you want to be pressing Condemn. So if you have Signet on and you charge into a raid boss and you pop Recklessness, you might get Blade Storm, which means you're going to spend 3 to 3.5 seconds spinning instead of being able to cast Condemn twice in that same window. And if you can't cast Condemn, excuse me, then you can't extend Recklessness with Sinful Surge. So Sinful Surge does not pair very well with Signet, in my opinion, because popping Recklessness has a chance to give you Blade Storm. It also have a chance to give you Avatar, which is fine, but anytime you pop Recklessness and you get Blade Storm, you just lost 4 seconds of Condemn time, which in my opinion is really bad because it means that you're not getting the cooldown extension, sorry, the extension of Recklessness. So this is kind of the setup that you would look for if you're Venthyr, and I think going with Reckless Defense might be kind of cool. Could be overkill. Let's take a really quick look here at the tier set bonus, because this is where things maybe potentially change in terms of our build. So what are we looking at here? We've got Fury Warrior. Frenzied Destruction. Raging Blow has a 20% chance to cast Recklessness, to grant Recklessness for 4 seconds. Okay. Raging Blow is like our filler to get us back to Rampage, obviously. What's the 4-piece? Raging Blow deals 15% increase and gains an additional charge. So it has 3 charges now. It deals more damage, which makes it better to press. Raging Blow already has a chance to reset its own cooldown. And now every time we press Raging Blow, it has a 20% chance to give us Recklessness. Here's what we're not sure of yet. What if we combine that with Reckless Abandon, where it says Recklessness generates 50 rage every single time it activates? What if this tier set bonus, you press Raging Blow, it gives you 4 seconds of Recklessness, and it gives you 50 rage, which would just immediately get you back to another Rampage, basically. That's a potential combination right there. Um, Also, this is going to pair very, very well with Reckless Defense because, again, we want to get back to Recklessness as much as possible. We could probably, with this tier set bonus, we could absolutely get away from taking Anger Management now. And instead, I'm going to move back to the game here really quick. Sorry, I realized I was still on the thing here. Instead of taking Anger Management, we're going to go for Reckless Abandon because if we have this tier set bonus, when we press Raging Blow, it has a chance to give us Recklessness. Raging Blow is up all the time, and it has a chance to reset its own cooldown. Your chances of getting Recklessness from Raging Blow are going to be quite high, in my opinion. Again, we're going to be kind of GCD locked because we're Venthyr and we want to press Condemn whenever it's possible to press Condemn. Now we also want to press Raging Blow whenever we can possibly press Raging Blow because it's going to give us Recklessness. On top of that, we always have to press Rampage as soon as Rampage comes off cooldown. So we're getting a little GCD locked, which means you might want to move away from things like Dragon Roar and from things like Blade Storm and take things like Meat Cleaver instead. Obviously, that's really much less of a DPS increase in single target. Dragon Roar is still completely fine in single target. You'll have chances to use it. But do you see what I'm saying here? On pull, you're going to pop Recklessness, you're going to press Condemn, then you're going to immediately have a Rampage because your Recklessness just gave you 50 Rage, and you press Condemn, which gives you 20, so you're basically there. You press Rampage, your Condemn will be back off cooldown, so you press Condemn again. Then you start getting into the Raging Blow rotation. You have 3 charges of it with the tier set bonus. You press Raging Blow, you press Raging Blow. That might extend your Recklessness by 4 seconds. Then you get another Rampage off. You go back to Condemn. Now maybe you're outside of the Condemn window. You're into like the normal part of the raid boss. And so now you're just focusing on Raging Blow plus Recklessness, and you're extending plus Rampage, and then you're extending Recklessness over and over and over again. The beauty of that, staying in Recklessness as long as possible, is amazing with Reckless Abandon because Reckless Abandon buffs your Raging Blow. Raging Blow right now does 2286 physical damage. Watch when we pop Recklessness. 2286. It goes to 35. 3500, guys. Condemn. We already have a rampage because we were already there. Condemn, rampage. We're gonna condemn again. It's back. We gotta press condemn if it's up. Recklessness, or sorry, rampage, rampage. We might be getting recklessness from the crushing blows now instead of raging blow. It's called crushing blow. So again, guys, this is what you're gonna see. We're just gonna be getting the crushing blow. See how we're extending recklessness already? See how good this is already? We don't even have the true extension of recklessness. We just have the baseline of it right now with the Sinful Surge legendary, Condemn, extending Recklessness. But this becomes incredibly powerful if you can stay in the Recklessness window forever, which I think with this build, we will be able to do. If you have Sinful Surge plus Reckless Defense as your second legendary, you won't have to take Anger Management. Every time you press Rampage, you're going to have a chance to cool down Recklessness. Every time you press Raging Blow, the tier set will give you a chance to extend Recklessness. Um, and the recklessness buff is making your raging blow become crushing blow, and your bloodthirst becomes, I forget what it's called, but it does tons and tons of extra damage. Like the amount of damage that crushing blow does, you can see it right here. It actually hit twice. It was doing 15% of our overall damage. But that's the idea, guys. This is the build that I'm talking about for Venthyr Fury going into 9.2. We're going to take Sinful Surge, you combine it with something like Reckless Defense. You get the extension of Recklessness. I'm going to try it again here in a second. I'm going to actually focus really hard on pressing Condemn so we can have the extension. But see what I'm saying about being GCD locked? I have to press Condemn to extend Recklessness, but I want to press Crushing Blow because it's Raging Blow because it's now become Crushing Blow and it's doing so much more damage. And Crushing Blow has a chance to give me Recklessness as well. So it's like you're a little bit torn on what buttons you want to press, and you're getting so much fury so quickly that Rampage keeps coming off cooldown, which is great. Let's try it in a single target scenario, because that's probably a better example. But you can see what I'm saying about being GCD locked a little bit. It's not quite totally GCD locked, though there will be enough time to get all this out, but it's going to be kind of tough. So okay, what are we trying to do here? We're trying to keep Recklessness up for as long as possible because Reckless Abandon is here. So let's get ready to do this. We're going to pop Condemn the immediate extension, okay? Charge, Condemn, Rampage. We got a Rampage right away. Condemn again. Now we hit Crushing Blow. Okay, Rampage, Condemn, Crushing Blow, back to Rampage, Condemn, Crushing Blow, Rampage, Condemn, Crushing Blow, Rampage, Condemn. You can see the cycle here, obviously. Crushing Blow, Rampage, Condemn. Our Recklessness is very much extended. We are obviously we're getting a bunch of free condemns here because this guy's health doesn't move. But imagine you're on a raid boss and he's still above 80% health. This is the rotation you'd be doing. Now we're finally don't have any buttons to press. I'm gonna press Dragon Roar. Okay, we're still extending. Our recklessness is about to fade. We'll get one more extension of it, one more crushing blow, and our recklessness is finally faded. So there's the window that we had right there. You can see the damage of Crushing Blow is crazy. It just did 19, almost 20% of our damage. Condemn obviously is contributing a whole lot. But you can see we had Recklessness up there for like 30 or 35 seconds, and the cooldown of it is almost back. Without Anger Management, the cooldown of it was like 30 seconds away. Was it when I was done that fight? Let's say the cooldown was 30 seconds off when I was finished that fight. That means we had Recklessness for an entire minute. We had it for 60 seconds there without taking Anger Management, just with Sinful Surge extending it. So imagine in 9.2 when you get more cooldown reduction from Reckless Defense here. It's just going to be back. You're going to have this up all the time. And because you're going to have Recklessness up all the time, I really think it pushes us to play with the Reckless Abandon playstyle over the Anger Management playstyle. That's what I'm looking at in 9.2, guys. I think with the tier set bonus coming in, making Raging Blow the priority now, Condemn is obviously the priority on pull. You want to be pressing Condemn as much as possible because it extends Recklessness and it does the most damage, and you only get it for the first 80% of the 20% of the boss's health. Once you're out of that window, then Raging Blow takes over and it becomes Crushing Blow, and it does so much damage. It generates extra rage and it gets you to Recklessness really quickly. Recklessness, because of Reckless Defense, is going to be reducing the cooldown of Rampage is going to be reducing the cooldown of Recklessness through Reckless Defense. Sinful Surge is going to try to keep Recklessness going as long as possible. Those two things combined with each other are going to make your Recklessness last, I think, forever. I think there'll be a way to have permanent uptime on Recklessness, which is great. I think that's what we want. And I think it really does push us towards this Reckless Abandon playstyle, which is just fun. It's a lot of fun. I love this. Like, it's a different direction for Fury Warrior to go. Excuse me. We've really been stuck with sort of the Siegebreaker, Anger Management, Deathmaker, applying Siegebreaker. That's been a lot of the builds that have been running around. Obviously, everybody's been running Signet since the beginning of time. But I really think of the four legendary choices here, Covenant legendary choices, this one is the coolest. It provides the best kind of interaction with the Fury's kit and provides you potentially with a new build that is really focused around Raging Blow, which becomes Crushing Blow. And I think that in AoE situations, this just gets crazy. It just slaps. It does so much damage. So let me know what you guys think about Fury Warrior moving into 9.2. What do you think about the tier set? What do you think about this potential build with Venthyr? I'd love to hear your comments and what you guys think about it. And yeah, I'm going to keep doing more builds for Warrior and for all the other classes. And stay tuned. I'll